First foremost, hedge trimming. No, if you're getting ready to show a tree, you're not going to hedge trim. If you notice, you can't see me. This is boxwood. They use them a lot in hedges. So, in reality, they get pruned a lot, generally, and make nice little trees. But basically, when you're doing this type of quick work, you are just trying to go with a silhouette. Then once you get your silhouette, you come back in and do a little bit finer, more detailed work where you actually pay attention to make sure you're not cutting leaves in half. But when you're hedge trimming, it's not really a big deal, because you're probably going to be coming back in, hopefully, and coming back farther than where you're at now. You can't see me through the bush, through the bush. Now, when you're working the inner parts of your tree, if you notice, you go to any hedge, and most trees, their inner branching structure generally doesn't have leaves, and that's because it doesn't get sunlight. Pretty obvious answer, I'm sure. But so when you're designing your tree or styling your tree, you have to keep that in mind. And also, many people do different layers on their trees to give kind of a stacked appearance. And some people think that that's what makes it bonsai. And really what they're working at there is just opening it up where it gets sunlight. And it really trying to do this as fast as possible. I'm working through any areas where the branch just goes directionless or straight for long periods of time. I'm opening that up. Any areas where there's branches developing on the inner parts where I'm not going to want them anyway, go ahead and take those out. And then any of the branches coming out right at the ends or at the intersections of where I have a bend, I try to take those out as well. Now, you don't have to take out every little piece, because then you'll have a bald tree with no real depth. But the idea is just to clean it out, make room for sunlight to get in, and to maintain the shape, and keep your tree growing in a healthy manner, because trees always have to grow. So when you're doing this, you also have to keep in mind future development of your tree. And if you want branch structure somewhere, you have to have something to make the branch structure there. So sometimes you have to leave smaller branches just to develop your tree out in the future. Otherwise, you have nothing to cut back to. And eventually the tree is going to grow out of its shape. And then you're going to have to come back to something. And if there's nothing available because you've cut off every bit of new growth trying to maintain the structure of your tree, then you're going to have a problem. Not to mention, most tops of your trees are going to have your new growth on it anyway. So when you're developing your tree back, just make sure that you are working towards taper. So your top of your tree should have small branches. It shouldn't have a huge, big, fat branch straight up through the top and then nothing. Unless it's a pine tree, then you're kind of dealing with that.